It is over. The decision 2.0 has come down. LeBron James, the man, the best player in the NBA, has decided that he is taking his basketball skills back home to play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 4 years ago, I thought LeBron James had made one of the biggest, worst decisions of his whole life. I thought with him growing up in the state of Ohio, with him being sort of like the biggest superstar in the NBA at the time, I thought that with him pushing the Cleveland Cavs all the way to the NBA Finals and not being able to get the job done, I thought with him leaving Cleveland, I thought he was leaving his hometown and his sort of beloved franchise without getting the job done. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers never being able to hold up an NBA trophy, held even the city of Cleveland with your Cleveland Browns, with your Cleveland Indians. It is not a sports city or a sports franchise that I care about. I have no affiliation with Cleveland. I've never even been to Cleveland. But, it just sort of sucks to see sort of like, the Cavaliers weren't a dynasty, but I mean, they were just a team that sucked for so long. You want to see them climb up to the top and not be able to put the thing on there. So many people, point to the 2002 Sacramento Kings as, a team that, just, they weren't fans of ours, but they just wanted to see us beat the Lakers. You wanted to root for the little guy one time. And that's sort of the same deal that we were hoping for with LeBron. Cleveland had the great team that was basically held together by one guy. They had Mo Williams, a guy that was a good shooting guard that put some points on the board, but there was no doubt that, LeBron was the main piece of the puzzle there. And LeBron, he left. He went to Miami. He circled himself with other great players in the NBA, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, great leadership, and Pat Riley. And that's where the whole, the NWO sort of came to. Like the Miami Heat turned into the heels of the NBA. Sort of how they had to put the superpowers together in order to sort of take down the NBA. None of these guys were good enough to do it on their own. I know that, Dwayne Wade had won before, but that was with Shaquille O'Neal. You could easily say that Shaq was on the downhill of his career, but he was still able to put points on the board. He was still able to make a decision a little bit on defense here and there. Dwayne Wade was the main guy of that team, but Shaq coming over from the Lakers definitely it did help. It was a main part of that team there. I think the biggest loser of the whole thing coming together with the Cleveland Cavaliers is John Calipari. Basically turning down the Cleveland job a little bit ago when they were trying to find out who their head coach was going to be. They offered him $80 million, and he turned it down. And, from there, they were able to re-sign Kyrie Irving to a max deal to stay the point guard of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Great player, great uprise. He was the number one pick in the draft. Just a few years ago. He's had a few injuries here and there. Hopefully, we can always hope that he's going to be injury-free and he's not sort of got the injury bug for the rest of his career. They were able to land the number one pick in the draft and draft Andrew Wiggins. And then you go out and you sign LeBron James right here. You're going to circle out your starting five with Tristan Thompson and Anderson Varejao. You know him by his hair. You don't know him by his name. That's it. This is a good team. I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen to Andrew Wiggins from here on out. I mean, he could have just be he could just be sort of like a first round, bust. We don't know. Nothing's really, set in stone. Of course, you go back to last year with Anthony Bennett, the number one pick. Everybody thought that he was just going to be gangbusters in the NBA, and he sort of faded out to be nothing. But you could see a sophomore sort of resurgence from him, and he gets everything done. But I think that, I know I was really mad 4 years ago when LeBron chose to go to Miami. I thought that he sort of slammed his whole city, his whole state. Like I said earlier, he sort of, built a franchise that was going to bring the first championship to Cleveland in a long, long time. And he sort of left without getting the job done. I thought that it really helped. I thought that it really hurt the Cavs franchise. You can see how hurt Gilbert was writing that hurtful letter. And even though, they've done everything they can do to try and get that taken down off of the web page, off anything on the internet, but that's always going to live. I mean, that's something that you saw. You're never going to be able to forget what happened. That's almost like when the dude signed with Miami this week. Everybody, it was 2 years since that tweet he sent out about, never wanting to play for Miami, with him trying to be the Yankees. Somebody brought that to everyone's attention moments after he signed his deal to go to Miami and play. I feel bad for Dwayne Wade. He's a good player. I think that he's not as banged up and as hurt and as down as a lot of people say he is. I guess you can say he didn't show up for the finals last year, maybe even the whole playoff run. But Dwayne's a good player. He's gonna man up. And I'm sure he's going to be there, and he's going to make sure that, especially being in the same Eastern Division, that the Heat are at least going to have a chance to try and knock off the Cavs from going after that championship run. This isn't a lock that LeBron's going to win in Cleveland. It probably is his best chance. Chris Bosh signing with Houston. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but it looks like it's going to happen almost any minute now. I feel bad for Houston. I think they've put together a team. But I think that's just the team. I wouldn't pick them to win the West. I wouldn't pick them to be a force. I think they're just going to be a team, and that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, Houston came into this wanting to spend a whole bunch of money going after Carmelo Anthony, and they're not going to be able to land him. Looks like he's going to be going back to the Knicks. But that's just about it. LeBron, I think it's cool that you're going back to Cleveland, but I still think that it's not going to be what it once was if you would have won in Cleveland. I think that you had a chance to do it as the hometown hero. I'm sure that a lot of people are fired up that you're coming back. But I think a lot of people are going to look and see that, with Wiggins, with Irving, this was already a good team. And you're just, sort of just jumping on, trying to be that last piece of the puzzle instead of being the guy that built this whole thing from scratch. Peace out.